Some people were asking, is it not the second? I said, you're right. This is the second regional CFO conference, but as a matter of fact, this is our fourth CFO conference.
For today's keynote address and debated between a PowerPoint and a prepared speech. And given the importance of the subject, I decided to go for a prepared speech.
These are the three important characteristics of the cloud, and but in a public cloud situation, it's also built on a
How do you do this? When you look at your growth figure, how do you get percentage growth at the top of the revenue line? Is it, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. Is it based on GDP growth? Is it based on market share? Or are you basically told by a head office, a CEO or an owner, this is what the growth is?
Organization. So upon joining, he spent most of his time embedded in the business, trying to understand the business, trying to understand the markets that the business is operating in. And by doing that, really, and then of course with time, he gained the confidence and trust of the business. So much so that he was able to convince them that they needed to shift their strategy. So here in itself, this persuading the business to adopt a different strategy is a perfect example of true business partnering. But what's so spectacular, in my opinion, about this particular case is that not only did they have a big say in the development of the new strategy.
Period of the year, it was difficult to find the time to prepare for the presentation. Nevertheless, I managed to do that, and I hope that I will manage to put everything in 15 minutes time. It's very short, although we can talk about this product hours, if not days. I will start going back and renewing some memories about the credit functions. I hope that most of you are familiar with that.
And there was a time for this type of technology as well. There was a time when everything was about process. The last time I spoke about cost center management. Everything's about making sure we're close to budget. You know, is it higher, is it lower, etc. But businesses have changed. And in the earlier speaker about how the FT 500 companies, FTSE, have changed radically. They're constantly changing. But
and at that time it would be 89 years old. So things which seems reasonable only 15 years ago are completely out of sense today. So we need to understand, as finance professional, what is the value? And you would find a lot of values, definition by the way, but the value definition for purpose of this current discussion is the difference between the benefits, about the creating benefits for stakeholders, between enjoyed by the stakeholders and its cost of operation. So if you think of the shareholders' value, it's pretty straightforward. Cost, you take all the revenue and you take all the cost of the operations. Shareholders enjoy the benefits in terms of the shareholders' return or profit, call it profit. So profit is the shareholders' benefit or value. But it's not only about shareholders' value, as I said earlier. It's about what about the other stakeholders? And other stakeholders are customers, employees, suppliers, even society in general. They are all stakeholders in a business enterprise. What is their value and benefit? Everybody has to have some benefit. The important thing is that
what I would say is that the mentorship program, what Mecca has developed, is giving an opportunity to both mentor and mentee to learn from each other. There are certain expectations of the mentor and mentee. And I would want to briefly set out what is required of the mentor and mentee. Start with the mentee first.